Hi, my name is Lynn Taylor and my company is Taylor Made Plans, and today I'd like to show you a set of construction drawings for a brand new house or stock plans which I sell on my website. Primarily these are inner city historic neighborhood house designs. They're craftsmen's, Victorians, and also very contemporary craftsmen and Victorians. So they're considered stock plans is what you call them. It's like a pre-done plan. You just go through and search your square footage that you're interested in, all the specs, and then you can buy a set of construction drawings for like $750, 5 sets, and then you can build that house one time, and then if you would like to build it more, you send a reuse fee in. So that's what a stock plan is. It's a pre-done plan. You can also then take that plan if you want to do modifications to it. You could hire me then to just modify and change a few things, and that would add on to the price of the stock plan fee. You could also just do a total custom plan where we take and just start from scratch completely, and then that would be more expensive, of course, and I would have to give you fees on that. But today we're going to look at a set of plans, and this is my cover sheet. Now on the cover sheet I've just got some basic information. Climate zone information. These are designed in Nashville, Tennessee. The building code, which it's based on, 2006 International Residential Code. Some information here for the estimator and the lumber yard. These house plans, like I said, fit into historic neighborhoods, and they have a little historic feel to them. They're designed to fit in. We're not using customized or replicating exact trim work, but they're materials that you would use off of a shelf at one of the lumber yards or a big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot. So, but they're not like what you would build out in the suburbs. So if a builder's used to just building houses in the suburbs, this might throw a little loop. He would just need to pay attention to the details more, because it's a little different arrangement of materials to get that historic feel. Let's go to the next section. So primarily I want to show you what you get in your construction drawings. Sometimes, construction drawings are not created equal. You can have a great design, and then maybe the designer wasn't as had enough technical experience to really put together the house. Everybody has a different level of experience. So we put a lot of time and effort into our details so that when the builder gets out there, there's the least amount of problems. You get a better estimate on your drawings, and less guessing and head scratching is what I call it in the field. So most of the plans are set up the same way, same type of sheets. Different if you have a 2-story, 1-story. This here is the first floor plan. You got your dimensions, your window sizes right here by the windows. Of course, your plumbing, any particular notes that would be required here, talking about especially like here beside a tub, you want to put an energy break there, which is you go ahead and insulate that, a 1/2-inch piece of foam or a 1/4-inch piece of foam behind the tub prior to setting the tub. That's an energy break and an energy efficient note that I have on the drawings. Let's see what else. Also dimension and note the porch columns and things like that, trim detail a little bit here. And then here's some general information here about Energy Star windows and what you would want to do if you want to get more energy efficient into your home. Okay, let's go to the next one. So that's the first floor plan, and then this is the electrical layout. I do not put the electrical and all the notes and dimensions on one plan. I separate them out. So here you have your basic legend and just where your switches and lights, and this is based on standard recommendation kind of thing. Very straightforward. We have a big note here that says, subcontractors, if you make a hole, please seal it. This is to stop the air infiltration going from your crawl space into your house. If your subcontractors are not careful and do not caulk and seal up everything, then you're just going to have air moving back and forth. We recommend actually doing a sealed crawl space with some air conditioning in it, and this just helps with better air quality control, also not breathing the dirt from your crawl space. Again, these are notes on the drawings, and unless the contractor or you enforce it, they still may not do it just because the notes are on the drawings. Okay. The next sheet we usually have is interior trim details. I give different options here. We can go pure craftsman or traditional design. We can go more modern. We can have a very simple, inexpensive trim detail. So it's really, you can pick and choose which one of these you want. These are all custom trim, so they're made out of inexpensive wood, things you can pull off the shelf, or you can just go ahead and just buy what you can find in stock. So these are just going to give you a little bit of variation on your interior trim details. Sometimes I have interior elevations. Sometimes kitchen elevations come with like smaller houses because of community development, affordable housing organizations need them for certain reasons. This particular house has a fireplace with a built-in bookshelf, and so I have a little detail there. Also, houses with stairs on 2 stories, I will have a stair section cut just to show you the headroom. Also trying to give the framer some dimensions so that you'll be able to move a piece of furniture up those stairs when it's built. This house is just a 1-story house. Here we have exterior elevations. Again, calling out all the materials, dimensions, and then section cuts of where these details would be. I always do some details on the front porch here just to try to get the front porch built accurately. That's sometimes an area that is missed or is not built correctly, and then your columns are kind of out of whack. Also, too, it's important on your house, if you're doing a traditional historic looking home, to install all the trim boards prior to putting your lap siding on. So there's the process, you know, installing the tie-vac on the sheathing, installing your peel and stick around your window, the flashing, and then, you know, installing your windows, and then all the trim and the skirt boards prior to putting the siding on. So there is a process you want to do, and you always want that tie-vac on or house wrap on the house before your windows and doors are installed. This is very critical, because if your contractor installs your windows prior to installing house wrap, you're going to have a leaky problem in the entire life of that house, because there's nothing to stop the water getting into the wall except for caulk or sealant, and we know that caulk or sealant does not last forever. House expands and breathes, and so there's little cracks that get in there, and water over the years will get into that window seam. I have some notes here about the trim board, which is the best way to do it. Put a lot of details and notes on, and if the contractors read them and the subcontractors read them, then you'll get a design that looks like the photographs you would see on the house on the website from which you bought the stock plan. Again, 2 more elevations. I draw all 4 sides, plenty of notes and dimensions, and I'll also throw in a guide detail for any porch railings that the style goes with this particular house. So every house gets this detail of just a design that goes with the house. It's kind of a guideline. My next sheet, A4 sheet, is the wall section and detail sheet. You can order a house plan with a closed boxed-in roof eave. This is an exposed rafter tail here. Or without. This is actually a slab-on-grade house. You can order a stock plan slab-on-grade or crawl space, stem wall some people call. And here's all the details to get the house to feel more historic. There's also details I have for contemporary work that I have on my website. As you can see, I take these are like 3 examples of different corner boards. They're all 3 different sizes, and depending on the look you're trying to get on your house, I use all 3 of these. So we design with one that's the best for that particular house. And that means, like your windows, you probably need to order your windows. If you're doing a historic design, order your windows without the brick molding, and then put one of these pieces of wood on trim mold around it. I prefer the 2x4 because it is thicker, it gives a better depth, and it looks more historic, or more, has that, when I say more historic, I mean it just has the depth a historic house has. I'm sure you've seen houses that were had a lot of depth to them. You know, there was just a lot of wood on the house, or exterior skin. And then you see some houses that just look, the outside of it just looks like it's going flat. Well, that's where they have used all these skinnier pieces of wood, or not wood, it's man-made product, and they have no depth difference, so everything just goes flat. So I do not design that way. I design and use a variation of man-made materials and wood to get that certain look and depth of a house. Also, these details, I have a detail that shows how to do the skirt board, how to get a drip edge. The drip edge is the only custom piece of wood, but I take a piece of wood that you pull off the shelf at one of the big box stores, and we cut it, and you get actually 2 drip edges. This drip edge will not rot. If you pull a piece of drip edge off of one of the big box stores like Lowe's or Home Depot and just use stock, it will eventually rot, and I have seen that on my houses here in the neighborhood from years ago when they would just do that and not do this detail. So this detail is critical to get a good drip edge. Now, you don't have to use wood. You could all do metal and get a more contemporary clean line. So there's different variations on how you use these products to get more of a historic look or get more of a contemporary historic look. So if you prefer historic or you prefer contemporary design, we can do that too. It's just a matter of how you use the materials and put them together. Anyway, just want to show lots of detail on the house to get the house looking the way you would like it. This is a porch sheet. I always do a porch detail sheet. As you can see, your beam sizes, getting your fascia board the right height. Sometimes that means I oversize the beam on the porch so I can get this height of the beam that runs around the porch, because there is a relationship between that. So I ask a lot of times I tell the framers that the beams are oversized just so I can get the height of the beam correctly. And here we have brick piers and a concrete cap, and then this is a section through here. So lots of details on the front porch and rear porch if there is one. Again, this is a slab on grade, so you have a foundation plan. I have a structural engineer review my foundation plans and my framing plans. I don't have to. It's not required of me. Some states around, your coastal areas, it is required. I actually think it's important to do it, and that's why I pay an engineer to review that. He sizes, like I said, all the beams and the footings and the foundation, and gives me notes and guidelines on what they should be doing. This is just an added package you get. Sometimes if you was to order plans from some other people, or if you've seen some other plans from other companies, sometimes they don't have framing plans. Sometimes they don't have foundation plans. They maybe just a floor plan and elevation, so there's going to be exterior elevation. So there's going to be a lot of guessing going on when your house gets built. This way, it's also, you can get a good estimate when you're bidding a house plan. Everybody's looking at the same sheet. Nobody's guessing at what the footing's going to be, and so the contractor's comparing apples to apples when they have the entire package of drawings. And here's the footing details. Now this is like I said, a slab on grade, so these are monolithic footings, porch footings, exterior footings, post footings. This is a post footing, which I recommend. Many times they will take a post, a 4x4 post or a 6x6 post, and just shove it down in the concrete. That is not the correct way to do it. Setting it up with a standoff post base anchored into the concrete, much better, longer lasting. And then here we have a ceiling framing plan and a roof framing plan. This is a 1-story, so we don't have a 2-story flooring system. And then we have some framing details here. I framed the roof a little different to get that historic higher look on the roof. It doesn't cost you any more money except for a 2x6 that runs around the perimeter. So that's the only extra amount of wood you would have there. It makes your house look taller. Now, the one thing I did learn over the years is to get the beam, the front porch beam needs to be set. I draw a detail telling the framer where it goes and show it here on the drawings. If you do not show the framer where it is, a lot of times it gets placed in the wrong place, and then all of a sudden your porch is out of whack on the proportional ratio, and it just does not look accurate. And you have to keep in mind that the porch ceiling gets framed, and the beam gets framed first before they pour the concrete or to set the post. So the beam comes first before the post. You would think it would be the other way, but in this framing condition, they always frame the beam and the ceiling in first. So that's it. Oh, one thing I do not recommend, I have a sample of, this is finger jointed studs. I do not recommend using them. They are a lot cheaper. Sometimes people use these in framing interior walls, but you can see they're finger jointed, and if there's ever any kind of storm or anything, tornado, they just don't structurally hold up. So we just don't recommend them, but they are out there available on the market. Again, my name is Lynn Taylor. This is Tailor Made Plans, and we can help you with any of your stock house plan needs or custom house plans. Just give us a call.